So in this series I'm going to be going through how in 2025 I would fix Manchester United, and by fix I mean turn us into legitimate title contenders for the 25-26 season. I'll start off with the manager because everyone who watches my channel regularly already knows that I don't think Ten Hag is the man to win us a title, and so in this video I'm actually going to list 4 potential options, looking at why I would consider them for the Manchester United job, and in future episodes I'll tactically analyse each manager in greater depth. So my 4 main targets in no particular order would be Simone Inzaghi, Julian Nagelsmann, Roberto De Zerbi and Sebastian Hoeneß. So why these 4? Well, most of the analysis around managers and head coaches that I see online is just completely flawed. Most people don't watch enough football to be able to judge a manager based on their tactical ability, and so resort to just asking what has he won, which is just a double-digit IQ way of analysing managers, because by that logic, managers like Mourinho and Conte should be top targets for every elite level club and would be considered better managers than the likes of Mikel Arteta, which is just not the case. Inzaghi, Nagelsmann, De Zerbi and Hoeneß, alongside Pep, Arteta, Emre and Xabi Alonso, are the most tactically innovative managers around, and that's exactly what I want from the next Manchester United manager, someone who has a tactical flexibility, creativity and decisiveness to make big tactical alterations when needed, and who are constantly evolving their tactical setups both in and out of possession, as we've seen De Zerbi do at Sassuolo, Brighton and now Marseille, coming up with a possession strategy of playing directly through the centre of the pitch and baiting the opposition's press to create the space, and then using a double false 9 of sorts to take advantage of the space behind the midfield and open up further gaps in the opposition's back line. Inzaghi's system on paper looks quite conservative and Italian style 5-3-2, but in practice the fluidity in player positioning and interchange and rotation between the centre-backs and central midfielders is very unique even amongst modern football, and a tactical trend that I could see being a big part of the tactical meta going forward for the rest of the decade, which alongside Inzaghi's defensive solidity in his system, being showcased to perfection against Manchester City just the other week, has to make him a top target not just for Manchester United, but for any elite level club looking for a new manager. But before I come on to the other 2, if you want to pick up any of the new season jerseys, go over to Jersey FIFA. They've also got the club and international retro jerseys as well. Use code Atlantis at checkout for a discount. A link will be in my Instagram bio, which I will leave linked in the description. Sebastian Hoeneß at Stuttgart also impressed me massively in the Champions League, playing through Real Madrid's press multiple times, using a De Zerbi-esque technique, short and direct passing sequences to play out the defensive third, with the positioning of his midfield double pivot on the edge of his own box, working to drag Real Madrid's midfield line high up the pitch, for Stuttgart to then exploit when they create an artificial counter-attack. Nagelsmann, despite Germany being knocked out in extra time against Spain in the quarter-finals of the Euros, impressed me massively from a tactical point of view, with his but far enough away from the centre-backs in the back line to stop them being able to move out to apply pressure. This, alongside his use of something called minimum width, is another example of Nagelsmann's innovative tactical thinking, and I'll explain that in further depth in a future episode. These 4 to me are the standout names, and anyone who watches their teams regularly can see that from a tactical point of view they're a level above Ten Hag, even with inferior players. But of course, being Manchester United manager isn't about tactical ability, but I have to say in terms of man management, dealing with the press, and how they would work within the Ineos structure, I think all 4 would be better man managers than Ten Hag, better with the press, but they really couldn't be any worse, and all 4 could fit into a structure with a director of football above. However, if I had to put them in order, factoring out any potential fees that we'd have to pay for them, or their general availability just for the minute, I still think De Zerbi would be my number 1 target if we could get him, and his short stint at Marseille has already solidified my opinion on that since the summer. I just feel like his build-up strategy is so good that it gives him an advantage over Inzaghi, and out of the 4 it probably would be the Italian and Nagelsmann who I'd have most confidence in being able to evolve the tactical setups further throughout the rest of the decade. Working at Brighton, De Zerbi will also be used to working under a recruitment team, and his style of football would definitely suit Manchester United. Possession orientated with a focus on quick direct attacks, using short passing sequences, and I also think that this style of play could get the best out of players like Garnacho and Rashford if he was to stay, who thrive when there's space created centrally for them to make diagonal runs into, in behind the back line from the middle third. Also, I could also see a front 2 of Xerxes and Bruno Fernandes being perfectly suited to playing as a double false 9, as De Zerbi has used since his time at Brighton. The question around De Zerbi would be whether he's willing to lead the Marseille project after only 1 season. Marseille paid his release clause of €6 million just last summer, so he'd likely have to pay around €10 million to get him out of Marseille, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much if you are getting a manager or a head coach like De Zerbi. Julian Nagelsmann would be my second choice, but given that the 2026 World Cup will only be 1 year away, I'm sceptical as to whether he'd be willing to make the move next summer or he will just wait till after the World Cup to make a move. And so you could actually argue that Simone Inzaghi would be the most feasible option of those three. And he would be my third choice, with Sebastian Hoeneß being my fourth choice. But to be honest, I think all four would massively improve this current United squad, and so in future episodes I'll break that down tactically. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell, and you can also go to the description and the pinned comment of the comment section to get access to my Patreon, where you will get articles, unreleased videos and a Telegram group chat.